A lot of the restaurants were closed during the week, or they're open like 3 or 4 days because they can't get employees because it's too unaffordable to live up there. Hi, this is Cameron at Colorado Team Real Estate.
And I'm Blair, Realtor with the Colorado team.
And in this video, we are discussing the pros and cons of rental properties versus Airbnb.
Yeah, so we both own Airbnb and rental properties. I would say the pros of an Airbnb property are that you definitely get more cash flow with it. You know, you have a lot of turnover, and so you're making more money per night than you are with a long-term rental. And the other pro is that we're able to use it. And so I think that we both utilize ours as much as we can. And so it's, you know, kind of plays as a second home for us, but we're able to bring some cash flow in to make it make sense.
Yeah, I love the Airbnb concept here in Colorado. So we've got a place up by Kremling, and so this is just a recreation place. And we're able to reserve the months that we want to be there and go up there, use it like a second home. And kind of what I found is that I was spending so much in renting Airbnbs throughout the year that it just made sense to own one. And then my cost for ownership in the past year was about $3,000 because the Airbnb offset it. So that's, you know, less than one good week-long rental. And so I'm crazy happy with that because not only is the Airbnb income enough to pretty well pay off this house every year, we're also getting the appreciation from owning it. So
Absolutely.
A lot of pros with the Airbnbs. And I would say, you know, you've got one at Florida, right?
Yeah, we have one at Daytona Beach, and it's
Cool.
a home. And so, you know, it's right by the water, and we're able to utilize it. We go there a couple times a year, and then we own one in Angel Fire, New Mexico, which is a ski and mountain biking resort. And that one's only about 4 hours from our house. So we're able to go to that one a lot more often and be able, you know, like you said, use it as a recreation home and go skiing and biking and hiking and all the stuff that, you know, we like to do.
And I would say the cons that come along with this is we've got people coming in and they're typically large groups. Our place sleeps 13. And so when those big groups come in, I mean, there is broken lamps. We've had trim come off around the doorways. There's trash in the yard, you know, and there's a lot of things that come with this rental that, you know, when you hear the story about the house being trashed, it's frustrating. And, you know, you're just trying to picture your perfect property not being taken care of. You're frustrated with those renters. So all that comes along with the high return. And then also what we found is having a team is pretty tough to assemble. I was up a couple weeks ago and we had just had a huge snowstorm. And so like making sure we've got somebody who can get out there and clean out the driveway because there was 3 feet of snow in the driveway. So getting the driveway cleaned out, if you need plumbers in the mountains, it's hard. It's hard to find all those people, the cleaner, if they can't get in to access the house because we haven't plowed the driveway, now we've got an issue there. So just making sure you've got a really tight team that you compensate those people well and really nurture those relationships has been really important for me. What have you found?
Yeah, same here. I mean, in Florida, obviously, we're thousands of miles away from that home. And so we are 100% relying on our cleaner, our lawnmower to show up every week and do what they're supposed to do. We've been very fortunate that we have actually managed both of ours our own. And I think you guys manage yours as well. And so we actually have just a lady in the neighborhood that goes and walks through the property every time that someone leaves. And that's been super helpful. She can send us pictures of stuff are broken so we can get it taken care of. And then she just, you know, she walks the neighborhood a lot. So she's just able to check on the home even when people are there and make sure nothing crazy is going on.
Yep. And so then if you're trying to compare the difference between having a rental property or if you should go Airbnb, one of the things I would like to add with the Airbnb is that it's a lot of communication. You know, people are asking, how close are you to this and what restaurants are around? So there's a lot of communication, people kind of flirting with renting it out before they actually do. So a lot of conversation going on there. And then with the rental property, that's more of a set it and forget it. However, the income is a lot less, where we can rent out an Airbnb for 7 days and make a month's worth of income versus a rental property. So pro of the rental is just set it and forget it. Get a good tenant in there. That is always key, the tenant profile for your property.
Yes.
Making sure your property's tenant proof. So whenever I go into a rental property, completely redo it, make sure everything is new and that we're not going to have any issues with this. I like to use the luxury vinyl tile and just kind of cheap products, but things that are durable, things that are going to stand up so that I'm not getting calls all the time that, hey, you know, this toilet is leaking or the hot water heater went out, whatever it may be. We try to really tenant proof them up front.
Yeah. And I think one of the cons of a long-term rental is, or one of the things I would recommend putting in your lease is giving you the option to go check it maybe every quarter. Because, you can vet someone as much as you want, but you don't know how they're going to keep their house. And so if you're able to just say, hey, I'm going to walk through, the first of every quarter just to make sure that everything's okay, I think I would highly recommend doing that just so you know that your property is being taken care of.
The other piece is leverage. So there's been a couple times where, we've wanted to go chase another project, another flip, and it would be nice if we could just sell that property really quick if there wasn't a 12-month tenant in there, and use that money to go buy, something that would, turn over a high flip. So the leverage of a rental, I feel like, is a little bit of a disadvantage versus if it's an Airbnb property. We probably already would have sold that thing 3 times, just cashed out of it. Absolutely. Chase the next project. So if you have any questions at all about the difference between Airbnbs, rentals, how we're using those to really invest in real estate, please reach out. Happy to help anytime. Lastly, I would just like to add the Airbnb, it's getting harder to get the permit to do that.
Yes.
And so that's something you want to check in, even if you're buying a property and it says it's an Airbnb today, that sticks with the homeowner at that time, right?
Yes, I actually had a client this year that was able to purchase the home, and the Airbnb license was granted. In Colorado, it's getting extremely hard, and part of it is just the housing market in general. Counties are trying to tighten that to make it to where people can purchase homes instead of Airbnb them out. But there are still lots of opportunities throughout the United States. And if you have any questions, reach out.
Just my theory on this real quick is I think a lot of money in Denver and across the Front Range moved into the mountains and bought up a lot of properties up there and really escalated those markets. They had a lot of appreciation and made it harder for a lot of locals to buy housing. And so then last summer when we're, traveling throughout Colorado, a lot of the restaurants were closed during the week, or they're open like 3 or 4 days because they can't get employees because it's too unaffordable to live up there. So that's why we're seeing people tighten down on the Airbnb permits. And I think there's more of that to come where they're not going to open it up a lot because of all the unaffordability. And I saw Canada just made it where you can't buy, I can't go to Canada and buy a house right now. You've got to be a citizen in Canada to buy a house for the next 2 years. So that's how they're trying to help their housing problem. Right. But again, any questions you have, please reach out. My number is 303-501-2810.
Yep. And I'm Blair, 719-357-1346. Thanks.
Thank you.